Hi guys, I'm back. In honor of reaching 101 subs, which thank you guys so much for, this video will be 101 Genshin facts you probably didn't know about. So let's jump right into it, and you can tell me if you enjoy this type of video in the comments. And if there's any facts that you know of that I missed, do share them as well. So we're gonna start off small. So according to when you log into your game, your loading screen will display as morning, noon, or night. Genshin is very popular in the Asian gaming markets such as Japan, Singapore, and Hong Kong, being the highest spenders on the game. Snezhnaya has the strongest military presence in Teyvat. Mr. Zhongli, the Geo Archon, my favorite man's, is the oldest character in Genshin. He's over 6,000 years old, so we gotta give this man some respect. I hate to say it, but Venti is considered the weakest Archon due to his status being a handout by the rail farmer Anemo Archon. Liyue is the richest region in Teyvat, with Snezhnaya coming in at second place. Kaya is Diluc's adopted brother, and they had a fallout when their dad died. They're somewhat estranged now, but Diluc kept the ugly vase that Kaya gave him, which he hid Diluc's vision in to give him back at Don's winery, so they clearly still care for each other. Child once made a promise to Chi-Chi that he'll supply her with coconut milk, and he kept his word by setting up a whole coconut tree industry in Liyue for her. There's a spirit who's a young girl called Dusky Ming in the game that sometimes stretches with Chi-Chi, even though Chi-Chi can't see her. Bara and Jean are sisters. There's an NPC uncle in Liyue named Uncle Lu. I'm botching these names, but he's ashamed of axing out Shuzi, another NPC who's been his neighbor for years, who he fancied. In return, apparently Shuji has been waiting for Lu to confess his feelings for 40 years. Now guys, if you have a girl or guy you like, shoot your shot. This is your sign, because the only bad thing that could happen is they say no, but at least you tried, and at least you know where you stand and where their feelings stand. No more guessing game. My man's Mr. Zhongli named Teyvat's currency Mora based off of his own name, Morak. And then when he decided he wanted to stay in Liyue, he forgot to give himself any money, so he is broke. Glazed lily, one of my favorite flowers, only blooms at night. Chi-Chi speaks in the third person because she's afraid she'll forget her name if she doesn't. Razor got his vision sadly after his entire pack died trying to protect him. They broke our man's Zhao. Zhao was enslaved by an ancient god, compelling him to commit acts he did not want to do, such as devouring the dreams of his victims. This brought him immense guilt and inner turmoil, as he was made to act contrary to his true nature. The Torre, super evil man, eliminated a family and did experiments on people. I hate to say it guys, I really hate to say it, but the Archons in Genshin all are named after demons. Now, I choose to ignore this fact so I can live a happier life, but I'm not gonna lead you blindly, so just keep that fact in mind if it's important to you. Every element has at least one short female character, aka Klee, Nahida, Chi-Chi, you get the drift. Cloud Retainer brings fish to a lake where Shenhe is so Traveler can come visit her. It's super cute, she's being such a good mom. Hoyoverse, often during live streams, social media events, or as part of special program releases, redeem codes that gives you Primal Gems. A dragon named Durin remains can be found within Dragonspine. Dragonspine used to be called this name before a pillar of Celestia ruined it. Eberhard, a member of Mondstadt's aristocracy, is connected to the lore of Dragonspine, with mentions of him helping with a rebellion and trying to eliminate rivals. The artifact set, Noblesse Oblige, is the most used set for burst-oriented characters. The Jade Cutter's sword is made from pure jade by our man's Mr. Zhongli when he was Rex Lapis, as a gift for a close friend and a symbol of peace and prosperity, but that symbolism failed because he had no choice but to wield it during the Archon War. To cleanse the vixen bodies and souls and help them enter the afterlife when a plague arrived in Liyue, people performed fire rituals with the staff of Homo. When the goddess of dust, I'm going to put her name here so I don't botch it, who was very close to Mr. Zhongli, met her demise in the battle of this name and this plane, it eventually sparked the Archon War. Yao Mia currently holds the record for the shortest time between reruns, with only 10 weeks between banners. Every character event usually runs for 3 weeks before the next banner. On recent surveys and community discussions, Furina is widely considered the most popular character in the game. Based on community discussions as well, and analysts, Ito, Albedo, and Shenhe are often among the least owned 5-star characters. Dvalin is one of Genshin's weakest boss. Natlan is inspired by pre-Columbian, Latin American, Sub-Saharan African, and Oceanic culture. When you go into character archives, you can view the dates of when the characters have been pulled to join your party. If you look for Amber, you'll see the dates you started playing the game. Honestly, I love this one. It's a very nice little detail. There's a secret room at Boo Boo Pharmacy that you can enter. Changes happen in the game after Natlan's War. If you have any characters from the House of Hearts on your team when fighting Arlecchino, then she'll have certain dialogues directed to them. Apparently the treasure hoarders have a logo. Chao is apparently not good with a bow, that's why he throws the bow in his animation after trying to shoot it. Honestly, same. Yamiko and Raiden have matching idol animations. Noelle so far has the biggest vision, probably due to her having such a big heart. Weather actually affects the windmill in Mondstadt. When your elemental burst is full, there's some small elemental animations when switching characters. Malvika is the first character in the game that doesn't use energy, making the energy recharge state useless. If you give her a signature weapon to anyone else, that flame will die out from it. Shinole made Malvika's legendary bike based off schematics Malvika brought her and didn't even know how she found or obtained the schematic. This name, also known as the Reaper of the Abyss, is a powerful entity described as the Heart of the Abyss, which is also what one of Kaya's talents were called before they changed it. Isn't that suspicious? While Shinolin is climbing, if you look closely, she turns into a leopard. Uvilet's first name is currently unknown to us, so we've just been calling him by his last name. We have a scammer in Genshin. There's a guy in Springvale in Mondstadt who sells holy water in the day. His name is Hopkins, the Marvelous. But in the night, we can see him fill up bottles of spring water to later sell as holy water. If you lack some skills like me in the game, then you can get some achievements by dying, such as Boar to Death, which is unlocked by getting killed by a boar, as well as the Bleak Midwinter is awarded for dying to the cold in Dragonspine's region. Natlan is the only region that gives you Primo for every level you unlock when donating sigils. Rias Lee offed his abusive foster parents to save his adopted siblings, which placed him in jail during his teenage years. Due to a deal that Kanish and Aha have, Aha wants Kanish gone from the plane of life so he can take over his body for his own use. Amy states that she is just an ordinary human despite her mermaid/fish-like design being so good along with her movements that I don't see other characters moving like. But again, she says she's human. Cloud Retainer's vision is fine, she doesn't need to wear glasses, but our girl is accessorizing to appear more human. We currently have no Hydro Archons in the game. If you think it's Furina or Neuvillette, but you haven't hit the lore yet, you'll see soon. There's a weapon called the Dark Iron Sword, and only one exists in the entire game. It's a 3-star weapon, and most likely, if you're anything like me and don't care about 3 stars, then you probably sacrifice it to enhance another weapon. Kale and Amber have already met each other in the game and are actually pals. Klee and Albedo have a special connection to each other through Klee's mother. She assigned Albedo to look after Klee, so they technically see each other as brother and sister. Albedo knows and practices alchemy, a magic tradition rooted in Conria. This art is known as the art of Kimai, which focuses on creating life, which sounds like a forbidden magic to me because Celestia won't like it. Lisa is one of the smartest characters in Genshin Impact, being a top student of the Academia. Lisa is surprisingly afraid of pumpkins. Genshin is very close to having 100 playable characters. Mondstadt is the smallest region in Tibet. Many adults in Sumeru do not have dreams. Elazar comes from Sumeru and only Sumeru. The desert region of Sumeru is detailed enough to show movement tracks. Natlan has a sacred flame that has to be burnt eternally to keep the abyss away. Fontaine introduced diving and underwater exploration in the game. I'm not really sure how long you guys have been here, but at one point Genshin was banning players for a few reasons, like using third-party software, external plugins, or cheats. I think that still applies to this day, so stay away from Genshin mods if you want to keep playing. Rune guards that are scattered around the place are a type of mechanical war machine that were created by the people of Conria. The rune guards in Storm Terror's lair is looking at Celestia. There's 2 Fatui members in Mondstadt that I like to go back to hear what tea they're spilling as the story progresses, because for some reason they're very aware of story progression. Yanfei, our firm legal advisor, has a backup plan to become a rapper if she were to lose her job in the future. Very far from what we would ever expect, but I mean, I'd still attend her show. So this one is a bit unhinged. As we know, our man Venti is very secretive and our girl Mona is an astrologist. She decided she's gonna look into Venti's constellation, but when she tried, Venti sent strong winds her way which blew off her clothes and hat. So she has never tried to read him ever again. She got the message. Ganya was apparently a very chubby kid, and she's changed that by sticking to a very strict diet. That's why you'd hear her say a lot of lines concerning her physique. She decided to change things around after a giant monster tried to eat her during the Archon War, and she ended up getting lodged in his throat, causing him to, leave this world. Lynette has a very dark backstory, and I'm just going to leave it at that. She was sold to an evil man and Alekino intervened. Just so you know, Genshin was hinting at some very dark things. Ether and Lumaine are twins, but Ether is actually the eldest. That's an important thing to twins. The clock in the game makes a different sound depending on the time you set. Signs in Teyvat are in English. They're just mirrored or upside down and obviously using a different typography to read. Each nation in Teyvat has a special sound for when it's 12 o'clock except for Sumeru, which has a visual change rather than a sound, and Liyue itself doesn't have a sound effect, but at the stone forest you'll hear one. Wander has a doll hidden under his hat that he sewed in his friend's image. Kainari was very popular in the academia, that he was suspected to be a cult leader. The fountain at the opera house is actually a music fountain called the Fountain of Lucin, which reacts to the game's music. Fischl's Oz is not real, but only a fragment of her imagination which came to life because of her vision's power. Escoffier blushes if you look at her long enough. Hu Tao has 2 stone lion pets by the Ministry of Civil Affairs in Liyue. She just randomly started taking care of them one day. Leveling up the statue of 7 increases the healing percentages. It's implied that the traveler and their sibling may have come from a different world with different languages, so Paimon taught the travelers Teyvat's language. Mondstadt and Liyue has missing posters of the traveler's sibling. Teyvat has different time zones for different nations. The Wanderer and Child do not trust Arlecchino. Escoffier is said to be as strict as Gordon Ramsay with her food. If you summon her floating pot and hit it with any elemental, then it randomly produces a dish. There's a 4-star pity system. You get a 4-star item every 10 wishes. If you make 9 consecutive wishes without getting a 4-star, your next vision is guaranteed to be a 4-star item. I forgot that we have this, but we can use Elemental Sight to find Sealies, hidden paths, and doors. Use it to get help in puzzle solving, identify breakable objects, and find things about your enemies like their weak points. This one is for survival. The Genshin characters in the game swim better than the males. The kids climb better than the adults. Tall characters run faster while the males have the best run-jump combo. Thank you guys for being here. Hopefully you like this video. Comment and subscribe so I can keep making more videos. Bye!